Good afternoon. I'm Tracy Sinclair, and we are getting ready for a press conference from the Anchorage Police Department. They are going to be updating us on an officer-involved shooting that happened earlier this afternoon. There was a heavy police presence down at a Midtown hotel. This happened this afternoon. According to Anchorage Police, an officer at the scene, the police were called to the Hilton Garden in report of a disturbance. I will give you kind of a look down at what's going on. They've not begun down at the press conference just yet, but they are getting ready to begin. So we will keep a listen as
because those are birch trees.
What's going on down at the press conference. As I said, this is being considered an officer-involved shooting. No APD officers were injured during the shooting, and the person who was shot has been taken to the hospital with injuries. They're considered non-life-threatening at this point. And we will go ahead and listen in with the intent that they will begin here in just a few minutes.
Were you at the assembly last night?
I was, yeah.
I didn't see you there last night. You guys left early, though.
Yeah, I left around 8:30.
You stayed just for the vetoes.
Yeah, that was my main story. But we also had a reporter covering part of the marijuana retail sales. They did the public testimony stuff.
They actually moved both of them until January.
Okay, sounds good. I think it was like the first meeting. All right. It will be interesting to see what happens.
All right.
It looks like they are getting ready to begin, and we will be listening in with this press conference being updated by Anchorage Police on an officer-involved shooting that occurred this afternoon at a Midtown hotel. They say that the person who was injured has non-life-threatening injuries and has been taken to the hotel. As of about 2:45, the street was blocked off. A street was blocked off between Tudor and East 48th Avenue. They're saying, police say there are no public safety concerns at this time. And we are here
to good afternoon.
Update.
At 1:29 p.m. Today, Anchorage Police received information that a person with a felony warrant was in a room at the Hilton Garden Inn located at 4555 Union Square Drive. After confirming which second floor room the suspect was in, officers set up a perimeter outside below the room's window and in the hallway outside of the room. Initial indications are that an APD negotiator contacted the suspect telephonically. After a brief conversation, the suspect disconnected the call and suddenly opened the door to the hotel room. The suspect entered the threshold of the room with an object in his hand in what appeared to be a shooting stance. One of the officers that were in the hallway fired his weapon at least one time. The suspect immediately retreated into the room and then jumped through a second-story window to the ground below. The suspect was detained by the perimeter officers and subsequently evaluated by AFD medics. The suspect was transported to a local hospital for treatment for non-life-threatening wounds to the upper body. The source of the suspect's injuries is still under investigation. We don't know whether it was caused by gunfire, jumping through the glass window, or a combination of both. After the suspect jumped, officers entered the hotel room. Inside, they found an adult female with serious visible injuries to her face. She indicated these injuries were from the suspect. She has been transported to a hospital for treatment of her non-life-threatening injuries. No officers were injured. There will be a heavy police presence in the area while the crime scene team processes the scene. Per policy, the state's Office of Special Prosecution, otherwise known as OSP, will review the officer's use of force and determine whether it was justified. Once that has been completed, APD Internal Affairs will review the officer's actions to confirm whether there was any violation of policy. As per APD practice, the officer will be placed on 4 days of administrative leave. His or her name will not be released publicly until 72 hours have elapsed. Once OSP has completed their investigation, their findings will be available for the public to review. Do I have any questions? Yes.
Just curious, do you know the officers involved in this incident were wearing body cameras?
So at this time, none of the officers that were in the hotel that where the shooting occurred had body cameras on. We have about 58 cameras on the street right now, and none of the officers that were there had cameras on. Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you for coming. Have a great night.
So we got a little additional information from the police chief, and we will have more tonight on the 5 o'clock and, of course, the 6 o'clock news. We'll continue to follow up with this. You can read more on alaskasnewssource.com. Again, there was an officer-involved shooting. One person was injured and taken to the hospital. Again, they don't know what caused the injury, whether it was the shooting or moving through the glass window or a combination of both. We'll know more about that as we move forward. They do say those injuries are non-life-threatening. Thank you so much for joining us.